Hello everybody and welcome. I wanted to do a quick video real quick about the skill chipping out, kind of what the process is. So I alluded in ESI and basically it's 19.74 PED. And so what you need to do is you need to go to the trade terminal and you go down to the medical and there's a pain ink implant inserter. So you want to buy this thing for 15 PED. Now you're not really going to decay a whole lot with this thing, and then you could sell it back. But what you want to do with your chip here is you want to go ahead and grab your chip and then drag it down. And then once it's in there, what you're going to do is you're going to equip it like so. And then we can close this out. And then when you click here, it's going to tell you to extract a skill, select it in the list, and then click the extract skill icon from the lower corner. And of course, you can't do attributes. So basically, you've got your typical skill panel here, and you can pretty much pick whatever you want. And this is kind of an interesting way to show just how the skill curve is. So for example, if I pick hairstylist, it would take pretty much every point that's in there for 56 points. See if we could try to match up another skill that might, let's try scan robot. Let's see what scan robot. Scan robot, it would take out all of the scan robot at 1326 for this size of chip and probably have some left over. Now the key thing on this is if you're chipping out skills at like this, you don't really know offhand unless you've actually used the skill calculator, which I'll put a link in the video. But there's a player that made a really good skill calculator. It's worth knowing about. But if you don't know exactly how much that skill chunk is going to be applied onto the ESI, if you're under 10 PED when it comes back, you're getting PED back only. So if for example, I've got this 19 PED ESI, and if this only takes out 7 PED out of that ESI, then I'll get an ESI back of 12 PED plus a skill with that in it of 7 PED. And then there will be like a 10% loss of skill in there. But if I have a 17 PED chip and this happens to take out, let's say 8 PED from the chip, then what happens is I get an 8 PED chip skill and the difference of 9 PED for the ESI doesn't come back as a brand new ESI. It comes back as PED only. So it's a real tricky thing. You don't want to take a whole 10 PED ESI or close to a 10 PED value of ESI and sell it and chip it out and have just PEDs back when the ESI has a 2000% markup and PEDs have 0 markup. So you got to be real careful when you're doing these lower types of skills. And this is kind of just to show you just how crazy the skill curve gets. So this one chip doesn't even cover this one. So we'll cancel that. Let's see how we do with 2,000 points. It's going to take out all 2,000 points. Let's see what happens at 3,000 points. Now at 3,000 points, it's interesting because all of a sudden you see that it only takes out 953. Whereas if we went down to here, we take out all of 2,071. So this is a really good example of how the skill curve gets. And then it starts to really affect how much skill you get out for the full chip. So I'm not even sure if this would take the full chip or how much would be left of this until we actually would do it. I don't want to do that because you lose 10%. But there's a certain amount that's going to... And see, that's 18. So it must be right around 2,000 points. It's probably 2,150 or something like that that would fill up this entire 19 PED chip. Now, on the reverse side, here's how crazy it gets. When we go to the Pyro and we've got 22,965, we've got a lot more points. We've got the same chip. And when we go here, there's only single values. At most, I can take out 9 points out of this huge chunk. And when I do it, and I hit it, confirm, it's going to say, do you want to take out 9 points of your pyro skill? And you'll lose approximately 10% of the value. So I say, okay. I'm going to lose 0.9 points, basically, out of that extraction. So what I get out of it is, as you can see, I've got 16.69 of pyro implant, and then I've got 1.22 in Entropia dollars. So basically what happened there is, out of that 19 ped, we lost about 1 ped because of the 1% that's coming out, or the 10% that's coming out of the chip. We lost 1.6 ped or so. So that's where there's a little bit of loss there. But since the remaining amount is under 10 ped, it's going to be all in ped back. Now, if the remaining, if I had a 50 ped chip, for example, and I did that same amount, then I would get the same amount chip that I've got of 16 ped if I did just 9 points. So I'd get the 16 ped ESI. And then on top of that, I would get 16 minus a 50 ped, so it would be 34 ped empty ESI instead of dollars and change. So that's where you have to be really careful. You don't want to get the dollars and change as much as you can avoid it. And at this point, it's already showing you that the per point, it's already at 1 ped and 20 cents per point at least. Because if it went up to 10 points that we took out, then that chip would have been used. But that 10th point is worth more than the 1 ped 20 at this point with that much skill. But you can also see how reverse, if you take this same chip and go in and add it in from 0 points, then just like we saw with the with this scan animal, like for example, if you had 1 point in pyro and you chip in this chip, then you're probably going to get 2,000 points of pyro because it's the same amount of chip, and that's the skill curve. That's just how extreme it gets. So at 2,000 points, you can eat that in 1 chip, as we saw if you chip out, but you can also gain it in 1 chip if you get out. But on the reverse side, that 1 chip only takes out 6 points out of 23,000, and you could already kind of do the math and see how many chips you would need. It gets crazy. You just need so many chips just to knock down 1,000 points at that level, let alone knock down 22,000 points. But yeah, so that's kind of the. I forgot to show you. I forgot to show you at the bottom here when you do the chip thing. No, I don't want to do that. When you do the chip thing with an empty ESI with an empty ESI and you put it in there, there will be a separate thing for markup down here on this panel when you're doing the extraction. So you can kind of check through these and double check what the markups are on the different skills while you're doing it. And it's kind of handy on that. But this one, pyro, if we go up here and we look at the skill, we've got somebody selling it at 100%, which is really kind of silly, but whatever it is. But you can usually get more, and then there's other skills that are worth more and things of that nature. So it's kind of a planning thing. But the key point is making sure that you don't take out more ped than you would the ESI, because that's where you can lose a lot of money quick, just by not knowing that little factor. And once again, I'll link it in the bottom. Hope that helped. And I hope you guys have a good day. Forgoification on YouTube and Forgo TV on Twitch. Hope to see you there. Thank you very much.